Welcome, grade 9 students of St. Paul American School, Clark. Let's get right into our explanation. G9 Biology, Unit 7, Lesson 2, Flatworms and Roundworms and Rotifers. Today, we're setting the stage to climb what I like to call the evolutionary complexity ladder. We'll be focusing our lens specifically on flatworms, segmented worms, and arthropods to check out some truly fascinating animal body plans.
Okay, let's look at our roadmap for today. We'll start with our explainer objectives, move on to flatworms, then step up to segmented worms, jump all the way up to arthropods, pause for a quick misconceptions and formative check, and finally, wrap it all up with a recap of required concepts. Section 1. Explainer Objectives. The Evolutionary Complexity Ladder. In this explainer, we're going to trace the biological steps, starting from basic, simple acoelomates, all the way up to highly dominant jointed animals. So, by the end of this, you should be able to define flatworm anatomy, analyze segmented worm structures, specifically focusing on that really cool hydrostatic skeleton, and lastly, classify the absolutely massive diversity of arthropods.
Section 2. Flatworms, fin and acoelomates. All right, let's step onto the very first rung of our complexity ladder, the platyhelminthes, better known as flatworms. Now, the crucial thing to remember here is that flatworms are acoelomates. That just means their bodies completely lack a coelom, which is a fluid-filled body cavity. But, and this is a massive evolutionary step, they do feature bilateral symmetry. Basically, their body can be divided along only one single plane to give you left and right mirror image halves. This was a total game changer, because it allowed for a distinct head region and much more efficient movement compared to simpler animals that just have a radial symmetry.
Now, it's pretty wild how their anatomy works without complex circulatory or respiratory systems. Because they're so incredibly thin, literally like a single layer of cloth, they rely entirely on simple diffusion to move oxygen and nutrients right into their cells. But check out the image on the right. Those are bulb-like flame cells. The flickering cilia inside them actually look a lot like candle flames, right? Well, they actively sweep water and waste out of the tubules. This is absolutely crucial to prevent the flatworm from just becoming completely waterlogged in its environment.
Section 3. Segmented worms, adding complexity. Moving right along to our next group, the annelids. Here's where we start seeing some incredible new layers of biological complexity. What you're looking at here is called metamerism in an earthworm, which really just means the body is made up of repeated, similar segments. This was an amazing adaptation that originally helped the ancestors of modern annelids burrow way more effectively into thick ocean sediments.
Now, a quick aside, not everything inside the worm is actually segmented. Take the digestive system, for instance. It runs completely straight through all those segment partitions. You can think of it kind of like a kitchen sink pipe running straight down through the floorboards of a house. The segmented body is built around it, but the digestive tract itself, totally continuous. And this brilliantly illustrates the hydrostatic skeleton. See, instead of having rigid internal bones like we do, or a hard outer shell, annelids are supported by fluid-filled compartments inside their coelom. Think of it exactly like a long water balloon that you've twisted into individual sections. Since the fluid inside is non-compressible, it perfectly maintains the worm's shape while giving their muscles a really firm structure to pull against. So let's look at a worked example of how this actually drives an earthworm's movement. Step 1, the outer circular muscles squeeze and contract, which causes the segment to become thinner and longer. Step 2, the inner longitudinal muscles contract, pulling the segment back so it becomes thicker and shorter. And finally, step 3, these tiny hair-like bristles called setae push out to grip the dirt. By repeating this process over and over, the worm literally pulls itself forward in these powerful wave-like pulses. Section 4. Arthropods, massive evolutionary success. Stepping all the way up to the top of our complexity ladder today, we arrive at the arthropods. These guys are characterized by their incredible jointed appendages and those tough, chitinous exoskeletons. To truly grasp their global dominance, just take a look at the massive slice of species distribution on this chart. An estimated 85% of all known animal species on planet Earth are arthropods. They have successfully colonized almost every terrestrial, aquatic, and aerial habitat you could possibly imagine. We can actually organize this massive phylum into a few key subphyla based on their specialized body plans. We've got the fang-mouthed Cheliceraida, which includes spiders and horseshoe crabs. Then there's the multi-legged Myriapoda, like centipedes and millipedes, the largely aquatic crustacea featuring your crabs and lobsters,
And, of course, the six-legged hexapoda, which contains millions of species of insects. Section 5. Misconceptions and formative check. Before we wrap things up, let's clear up a really common biological myth. When you hear the term myriapoda, you might automatically think, oh, that means thousands of legs. Well, that's the myth. The fact is, despite the name implying thousands, even the absolute leggiest millipedes out there top out at around 750 legs. Actually, many species in this subphylum have far, far fewer legs than that. Okay, quick formative check for you before our summary. Which animal group relies on a fluid-filled hydrostatic skeleton, and which one relies on a hard chitinous exoskeleton? Think about it for a second. All right, remember that our segmented worms, the annelids, use that internal water balloon-like hydrostatic skeleton. Arthropods, on the flip side, wear their hard, protective chitinous exoskeleton on the outside. Section 6. Recap of required concepts.
All right, let's bring it all together and summarize what we've learned on this evolutionary journey. To recap, flatworms keep it simple and flat as acoelomates, relying almost entirely on diffusion to survive. Segmented worms step things up by adding that incredible metamorphism and fluid-filled compartments, using their hydrostatic skeletons and setae for advanced wave-like movement. And finally, arthropods absolutely dominate the globe with their jointed armor and massive biodiversity. So, looking closely at all these brilliant structural adaptations, which of these body plans do you think is best equipped to survive the next 500 million years?